Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Oshina. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some clean historical romances. These are not necessarily Christian, but some of them are, and they are all completely clean. I'm actually going to do a follow-up video to this one and share all of the not clean historical romances that I've read. I did read quite a few actually back in the day when I was younger. So yeah, I'm going to share those in another video, just like if you want to steer clear from some of these authors, but I'm going to share a list of all the clean authors that I have read and would recommend. And then I'm also going to include a TBR book of that same author because there are quite a few historical romance writers that I haven't read all of their books yet. So there are some that I want to still read. So I will go over these. I do have a video called Historical Fiction I Actually Like, and it's mostly romance, so there will be crossover. I'm gonna link that video just in case you want to see it. I do have a similar hairstyle in that one too. I guess just the half up, half down is historical for some reason. But yeah, I'm still gonna share my list of clean historical romances in case you guys are looking for some. So I also know that Historathon is happening in November, so maybe you want to add these to your TBR. Most of them are pretty well known, I think, but again, just sharing my list. So number one is Pride and Prejudice and Persuasion by Jane Austen. Those are the only two that I've read by Jane Austen, and Pride and Prejudice is my favorite of the two. Persuasion, I don't know why I can't say that word. Persuasion, there we go. Persuasion. It was like fine. I mean, no, it was good. It was a good book, but I think I liked the movie better. Or did I though? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I have not seen the Netflix movie. I'm talking about like the older movie. Anyways, they're good romances. They're clean, they're funny. But the book that I really want to read by Jane Austen is Sense and Sensibility because I love that movie with Alan Rickman in it and Emma Thompson and what's her name? Kate Winslet? Is that the one? Anyways, loved that movie, and if the book is any similar to it, I think I'll like the book because it does follow sisters and their journey to romance, and so I feel like I could relate to it. And so yeah, I'm interested in reading Sense and Sensibility. So yeah, for now, Pride and Prejudice is my favorite though. Those titles are hard to say, I don't know why. Next author is Elizabeth Camden, and I haven't read a ton of her books. I've read two, but I really enjoy both of them, and I really want to keep reading from her. So the two books that I've read are With Every Breath and Until the Dawn. I recently recommended Until the Dawn, so I'm going to talk about With Every Breath more in this video. So With Every Breath is about, it's set in like the late 1800s when tuberculosis was still like a major problem. People didn't know how to treat it, and so you actually follow a doctor who is trying to treat it, and then this woman ends up working for him to be his secretary, I think, or like she works with him to like do stuff anyways, and she's very smart, and they have like a history together, so there's a whole backstory, but it is a romance with the two of them. But then also there's a bunch of history to do with tuberculosis, and I learned so much. I had no idea about tuberculosis. Haven't really, yeah, it doesn't really affect my life, so I don't know much about it, but this book taught me a lot, and I liked the setting, like the historical setting. It wasn't boring. Like I usually find historical fiction boring because like it's just like old stuff that I'm like, I want the new stuff, I want the now stuff. But no, I thought she described it really well, and I also really liked their relationship. It was kind of like hate to friends to love. It was a really sweet romance. I liked it a lot. So yeah, I'd recommend it. And then I have also recommended Until the Dawn before. She has quite a few books, and I know The Spice King, I don't know if it's a trilogy or not, but I know that book is getting pretty popular. But I am interested in reading Beyond All Dreams because it is about a librarian, and I think this like guy comes in and needs help from her for something, and so it just like sounds nice. So yeah, I also really like the cover of that one. So that's the book on my TBR, but I would recommend anything by Elizabeth Camden at this point. There's like faith in her books too, so yeah, I guess I should mention that. She is a Christian writer, and usually there's like a strong faith aspect. I think there wasn't as much of one in With Every Breath, but Until the Dawn was super strong in faith. So yeah, if you like that, I'd recommend it. Okay, next classic is Julie Klassen. Of course, she is probably my favorite historical romance writer because I love the faith that she includes in her books, and her romances are really good. There's usually some kind of like family drama or mystery that she writes just so well, and her settings are just like really satisfying to read. Like she writes like big, beautiful manners so well. So my top two favorites that I've read by her at this point is The Tutor's Daughter and The Silent Governess. And I would recommend starting with either one of those if you've never read any of her books. I started with The Silent Governess and I was hooked by that. But I also really enjoyed The Tutor's Daughter. So read the description of both and pick the one you like the best. The Tutor's Daughter, loved the cover too. So there we go. And then the book on my TBR, at this point, yeah, I have not read it, most likely. A Castaway in Cornwall. Yeah, super excited to read this. I've never read a book by her physically. I've only read them as ebooks, so I'm really excited to read a physical copy, and I think it's just gonna be really enjoyable. This is such a beautiful book. I love the cover. I love the colors. The spine is gorgeous. So yeah, this is definitely on my TBR. And then I do have one other book by her that I own, The Bridge to Belle Island. This one is also beautiful. It has the red theme, blue theme, love it. But yeah, this one is the one I'm going to read first, and then probably this one. And eventually, of course, I want to read all of her books. So we will get there someday. Okay, next, Francine Rivers. She doesn't write exclusively historical, but she has written quite a few. So the one I'll recommend is The Lady's Mine. This one came out this year, and so it was a very exciting new release because it had been a while since she'd released a book. And yeah, I read and reviewed it on my channel. I'll link the video down below because I do have an entire video for that. And it was definitely like a good, solid, clean historical romance. So this follows like the gold mine era in California, and you follow this woman who ends up moving to this small town because her dad willed her his mine, or her uncle or someone. And it had a lot of like woman power in it because she like started running her own business, and she was like able to just work with the people in the town that doubted her. And yeah, it was a really fun, clean book, so I'd recommend it. And then all of Francine Rivers' books that I haven't read are on my TBR. I have put Leota's Garden on my TBR quite a few times this year, but I don't think I'll end up getting to it. But that's like the most recent one that was on my TBR. The one that I really would like to read is The Last Sin Eater. It just fascinates me. Even that title fascinates me. So really that's the next one that I'd want to read if I had it. I just don't own it, so I can't read it. But yeah, so anyways, all of her books are on my TBR though. Okay, next is Carrie Taransky. She wrote No Ocean Too Wide and No Journey Too Far. This is like a little duology, and it's fun because it's kind of set in Canada for some of it, so I definitely recognized like the cities and like just the culture. I grew up learning about it, so it was nice to see that. So No Ocean Too Wide is the first book, and you follow this family in England who the mother is like really ill and has to get taken to the hospital, and the dad had already passed away. So there's 3 young children and then 1 like older sister, which I relate to because that is literally me. And so the older sister is like in a different city working, and she sends money back, but then the mom has to get taken to the hospital, so the 3 kids end up getting taken to an orphanage, and they mistakenly get sent to Canada as like orphans, to be like bought, like what are they called? Anyways, like they get adopted, but they kind of get bought at the same time by Canadian settlers that want children or want laborers basically. So yeah, it's kind of that story. It is based in like historical fact. At the end, Carrie Taransky like wrote out that she did her research and like this was a real thing. But yeah, you follow this family. The older sister finds out that this happened, so she tries to get to Canada to get her siblings back, and it was quite emotional but very faith-filled and just like so good. I'd highly recommend it. And the romance for the older sister was really sweet. So yeah, it had like great combination there. And then the second book is No Journey Too Far, and it was like equally good. I really enjoyed it. You continue to follow these kids and what they get through, and so yeah, it was good. I'd highly recommend it. Okay, another clean author that I've read is Roseanna M. White. I'm not a super fan of her books, but I have read 2 of them, so here we go. I've read The Number of Love and Dreams of Savannah. I did like The Number of Love better than Dreams of Savannah, so I'll talk about The Number of Love. This is set during World War I or II, I forget. I have a feeling it is 2? No, 1. 1, because it's about the trenches, I think. Whatever. It follows one of the world wars, and the girl works for British intelligence. She is a code breaker, and it's pretty cool. She's like really good with numbers, and she like bypasses, intercepts German code and like deciphers them. There we go. Get it together. And then, yeah, it's quite a complicated story, but you do also follow a guy who is a spy, and he's like doing stuff, and they end up crossing paths, and it was good. Nice romance and kind of a unique take. Well, like the girl was not a traditional girl. She like actually didn't want to get married. She wanted to go to university. She was like smart and wanted to study, and she didn't have time for a romance, but like she was like a really good fit with this guy, and so it was cute. So there you go. I don't technically have any of her other books on my TBR because I kind of don't think she's the author for me, which is too bad because she has so many books. People love her. Her covers are stunning, but her, I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I've tried to explain it. I've reviewed both of those books in different wrap-ups, and like, it just doesn't click. It's the historicalness of the story that just doesn't click for me. It is what it is. But if you like historical, you'd probably like her because so many people do. Okay, and lastly, I've only read 1 book by this author, but it's Karen Witemeyer, and I've read A Worthy Pursuit, and this is set in America. This woman is a teacher, and she works at like an orphanage school, and it gets closed down, and so she kind of like saves these kids from going back to their families because she knows they're bad situations. So she's kind of a wanted woman because she like stole these kids technically. So she's in hiding, and so you follow her with the kids, and then you also follow the bounty hunter who's sent to find her, and it's a romance between them, and it's really cute. I liked it a lot. I would read more from this author, but I did find the historical setting like not great for me, but I really liked the characters and their relationships, so it was kind of like it was just okay enough because the romance really did it for me, but the setting wasn't my favorite, so yeah. And that is everything. Those are all of the clean historical romances that I've read. So, and you know what? All of them were faith-based other than Jane Austen, because non-faith-based historical romance can get interesting in a bad way for me. So yeah, I've got some experience with that. I will be sharing the books that I've read that were not clean that I've read. So yeah, I will go from there. So thank you for being on my channel with me, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any clean historical romances that you want to recommend, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'm always looking for more, but again, I am picky at the same time, so I can't guarantee I'll try out all of the recommendations, but check the comments if you want more recommendations, because if you like historical in general, you probably will like books easier than I do, because in general I don't like historical and I like don't gravitate towards it, but then these are the ones that I like really loved, so you know, you never know. But yeah. Okay, thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.